Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Sports Pop Talk. It is Sunday and it is August 9th, and I'm your host, Eric. And we are going to go ahead and dive into the world of sports and just kind of let you get caught up on what's going on. So, we have a great show today. So, go ahead and grab a cold one, get up on that couch, and let's get Sports Pop Talk going. All right, there we go. We got Sports Pop Talk. We are going to bring on my co-host, Mr. Tori Unusual Unboxing. So before I bring him on, let me go ahead and pull up his intro because everybody needs an intro. We hope that everybody's doing well. Let me go ahead. Hello, Miss Christina Payne. How are you? Miss lovely Christina Payne. Always doing so much for everybody. So we appreciate you, Christina Payne, a great deal. Let's go ahead and bring Tori in, but first, let's get that logo. Hey, Tori.
Hey guys, hey Eric, what's up?
How are you?
Good. Hey
Uh,
Christina, hey Dead Zone.
so, how's your weekend treating you, bud?
So far so good. Just doing some inventory and cleanup and stuff like that.
Okay. So, what's going on in the world of unboxing for you?
Um,
Did you pick anything up recently? Did you open up any?
yeah, I picked up this guy, Gary
Oh, is it
Sanchez.
Gary Sanchez. Okay.
I thought this is one of the coolest sports pops out there right now
Well,
because
I think it'd be better if it was Buster Posey, but I mean, hey.
yeah, clearly. But I mean, just it's different. It's not your standard pose that they all have. They all have the same like back down pose or ball in their hand, for pictures. So this one's at least a little different.
Nice.
And I've been getting more and more into sports cards. So
Well, I mean, there's so many good ones out there. I mean, I went into Walmart just on Thursday, I believe it was, and the shelves were empty. I mean, I couldn't even find anything.
oh yeah, well the thing is, so at Target and Walmart, it's like it's like pops. When a big pop drop, like when the black light pops dropped. You went to Target, everyone was at Target, you know, some people were there hours before it opened waiting online.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with sports cards. Like Topps Chrome just dropped on Thursday, I think.
Okay.
So people were at Target waiting for Topps Chrome. And once the Target opens, they grab everything.
Yeah. Well, let's
That's why you can't find it.
okay. Well,
you're lucky to find stuff in the store. That's just
yeah,
how
I
it
mean, as soon as I see something, I try to grab something if I can. I try to make sure, if I go down the aisles, when I'm checking out, I look at because usually they're right there by the checkout.
right. Yeah.
But anyways, so you mentioned to me that you did have some cards.
Yeah. So I did. Uh, so I've been doing some of these card breaks online, and I mean, you know, I'm very careful about what I do because some of them it's not worth it, the price point. But I get into some of them from now and again, and I hit on 3 Victor Robles rookie cards.
Oh, nice.
So, it's this one doesn't say rookie card on it for some reason, but it's a rookie card because it's the same year. And I don't know if you know who uh, Christian Pache is, but he's a. I'm not sure if this is his rookie card, but this might. Yeah, I think this is just a prospect card, but
Okay.
Shay's a good player to keep an eye on. And then just I got I actually picked up. I don't know where they are now, but let me see if I can get if they're in here.
So just kind of going over the chat. Just want to say hello once again to Christina Payne, Dead Zone, the Frog Prince, Andrew Weeble, kind of mainstream.
Yeah,
Welcome,
they're
guys.
not those. I picked up. I found 2 boxes of hockey cards, 2 blaster boxes that were $25 each at Target. So I picked those up.
Oh, nice. Just make sure, remember, anytime you pick anything up, you want to bend your back and your knees. Like, you don't want to throw out your back. So use your knees, okay?
Yeah,
Um,
I'll remember that.
okay. Um, so let's go ahead. Tori, just want to welcome everybody to the chat, like I said. But we're just going to kind of let you know what's going on in the world of sports yesterday, because yesterday was a sports day. In the NBA, they had their first double overtime inside the bubble. So we had Denver and Utah, and Denver was able to beat Utah 134 to 132. So they had that going on. We had in the MLB some news that came out. The director of communications for the Angels, Eric Kay, was arrested for supplying drugs to Tyler Skaggs, who, as you know, was found dead. He choked on his vomit from alcohol and painkillers. So they did find evidence, text messages in regards. So things are not going to be looking too well for him, which is not a good thing. But so we definitely wanted to just kind of touch in on that a little bit. Also, in the NFL, there's about 66 players that are going to be opting out of the season, and some to note are Patrick Chung from the New England Patriots, Dante Hightower, and last year for the Kansas City Chiefs, who did really well in the Super Bowl, Damian Williams. So they're planning on opting out. Now, obviously, when you look at opting out, we also have the MAC for college has alluded that they are not going to have a fall season. They are going to try for spring, a spring season in 2021. And the thing is they're going to have some meetings right now in the NCAA where in the next coming days to determine what's going to happen with the season. I mean, now obviously some players do want to play, and I don't blame them, but at the same time, like what measures are being taken? How are we looking at this? Because when you have even the experts, the world health experts that don't know what's going on entirely, how are coaches and trainers and players supposed to know without not jeopardizing loved ones and themselves? So obviously there are going to be some players that let's say, for example, maybe their team was not going to be that strong this year. They weren't going to maybe be a bowl option, but they were a prospect for the NFL. They for them to opt out is not that big of a deal. I mean, they can go to the combine, and train and perform and try out. So it's not like the NFL is not going to say, "Hey, you didn't play your season." So, these are things that are going to take place with uh, the colleges. They're running into situations for their scholarships. So there's a lot to be had in the world of sports with what's going on with this COVID. So, your thoughts with some of that there, Tori?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the NBA did it right with the bubble. The difference, see, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, why didn't the MLB do a bubble like the NBA? Why doesn't the NFL do a bubble?" The NBA, you have to remember, the NBA doesn't have a full season going on right now. They just, because they played most of their season already before the shutdown happened.
Hmm.
So now all they're doing is they're having an 8-team tournament sort of thing, and then to determine who makes the playoffs. So you can't have, especially with baseball. With baseball, there's no way you could have one bubble. But you could have had like 6 bubbles where they could have done that, where only the teams in those bubbles play each other. And then you could have had then there's no reason for anyone to opt out because people aren't going home at night to their family. Because that seems to be the reasoning for all the players opting out is I have kids at home, I don't, or if they have, if they have someone living with them that is at risk, so, or if they themselves, if they themselves are at risk, they're going to opt out anyway. But, if you say, like, everyone's going to be in this bubble and you're not going to have to go home at night, then there's going to be no reason to opt out unless, like, there's, I could see, like, baseball saying like next year for 6 months, like I just don't want to be away from my family for 6 months, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, obviously, you look at the St. Louis Cardinals, they've only been able to play in a few games. They're also jeopardized to cancel their series with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So, there are teams that are looking, to make a stand, however, in the NFL, they have pretty much said that there is only one team, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs, that have taken protocol in regards to what's going on. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. So what they have is what they would like is to call it a infectious disease emergency response. So it's an ITER plan. And only one team has put that in place, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. So to keep players safe and healthy, the NFL right now, they're in the midst of everything's negotiations. And so they're delaying stuff. And the thing is why are they delaying when you have something like this that is most important when you're dealing with the factor of safety? Right now it's about timing. The owners are bumping players against a timeline. They're trying to squeeze out as much as they can. And so basically the NFL, they are an employer, and they need to create a safe and healthy workplace for the employees. Otherwise, the employees don't have to go to work. And that's kind of what we're looking at is, you only have one team that has put that in place. So who is going to be that sports leader? I mean, if you have some of these colleges like in the MAC that are saying, hey, we're not going to take the chances. There's just too much that we don't know about. There's too much unknown. And so, there's a lot of ways you can, I think if they looked at things to next year, and let's just say that we're still dealing with some of this stuff next year, they can at least have a year of figuring stuff out. We were obviously brought into this. They did have some time once it did hit in February, March, to basically say, okay, how are we going to attack this when our season comes around? But I think a lot of people did not know that it was going to, keep itself around. So, I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at. But also, I wanted in the news. So Derek Lewis, he defeated Alexei Olnik in the. He had a TKO in the UFC fight night last night on Saturday night, and it was kind of funny. I wanted to pull this up because he had a little video lag, and so it was a little funny moment. So let me get this pulled up here real quick. I just wanted to show you real quick. And all right, so we got Derek Lewis right here, and as you can see, so let me get that full screen for you, if that's possible. So that's Derek Lewis right there, and so here's the beginning of this. So it's important to listen in the beginning.
You have the most knockouts in.
Wait, here we go. Let me
say you
wait. Pull this back. There we go. See if we can get that.
say you have the most knockouts in UFC heavyweight history, my friend. Well, listen, we'll get to that in a second.
Oh, hello.
Can you hear me, brother?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, before you go and remove your bowels out there in the bathroom, I mean, how does it feel to have the most knockouts in UFC heavyweight history?
It feels good.
So, obviously, when you have some lag, it's kind of funny. I saw that. So he's talking to somebody else. He's got to go to the bathroom. So, but the guy rolled with it pretty good. So, but he was able to defeat Alexei Olnik. in regards. And just kind of just looking at the scoreboard, let's go touch bases with the scores because yesterday was some baseball, and there was something I wanted to touch on for baseball as well that happened. Let me go ahead and real quick give you the scores.
Did you freeze? Uh-oh.
All right, here, don't worry about it. Sometimes my computer, my laptop.
There are two of you.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll remove that guy for you. There you go. Sometimes with my laptop, when I'm moving it around, because I got to get a mouse, is one of the things that's going to help.
Oh, yeah, you have to get an external mouse.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to do is just pull up the.
Especially on a PC. PC trackpads are very sensitive.
Yeah, it really, really is. However, it's, I'm working with it. I'm learning. But I just wanted to kind of go over some of the scores yesterday. So the Orioles took care of Washington 5-3. Texas beat the Angels 2-0. Cincinnati 4-1 over Milwaukee. You had Kansas City beat Minnesota. The Mets were able to take care of Miami. Toronto beat Boston, and you had the Cubs. Obviously, was postponed with St. Louis. Colorado was able to beat Seattle. Arizona topped San Diego, and so the other game that I was going to highlight here was the Giants beating the Dodgers. However, with the Giants and the Dodgers, the thing that they ran into was Johnny Cueto was going to have a no hitter, like he was in the midst of a no hitter, and there was a ball that was hit out to left field, and Hunter Pence could not find it, and so I wanted to pull that up real quick and show you. I just thought it was kind of funny, and I wanted to ask you a question on something on this actual event that happened. So let me pull it up first, and so we got. This one was on this one right here. They have. Let me see if it pull it up here quick. Could have sworn it was on here. Anyways, Tori. So, here we go. Okay. So yeah. So let me go ahead and check this out. Fly ball, obviously to left field. I got it. Wait. Oh, it's behind me.
Wow.
So obviously, Pence loses the ball. So the thing is with that right there, the no hitter goes out the window. Now he goes on later on to give up a 3-run homer at some point. So who knows what happens if Pence catches that ball if it continues through. But my question to you is, is that a hit or should that be an error?
Right. So this is I have a big issue with people using the error statistic as as a barometer for how good a player is defensively. because like really good defensive players who reach a lot of balls that a lot of people wouldn't get a lot more errors because they dive for balls and it bounces off their glove, whereas a player like Jeter, Jeter was a great Hall of Famer, one of the best Yankees of our time, but he didn't have the range of some defenders like A-Rod in his prime when he was a shortstop, so he didn't get to the balls. So the balls, he just missed them. They just went through the infield, whereas a better defender may have tried to dive for that ball. It ricocheted off his glove, and the scorekeeper gave him an error, whereas someone who didn't reach the ball, it's not an error for them. So I do think there could be some kind of thing where but that would be a hard, that would all be on judgment. That's the issue. It's all a judgment of the scorekeeper, and it's hard.
I know for the most part, I mean, it's a pretty much a good percentage that ball should be caught. It's not, I mean, those are things they should look into, and just kind of go from there.
That ball should have been caught because
I mean, let's just say, what if that was the last out? What if he had a no-hitter going into the ninth with 2 outs and that happens there? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, as a pitcher, I mean, you're going to be a little upset. You're going to be a little, sour with your teammate in that regards, because not tracking the ball. I mean, it's not like they're in a dome with heavy lights, and Hunter Pence has been around for a long time, so I mean, it is a ball that should have been focused on and caught. And, so that's one of the things you look at. Is it a catchable ball? Well, if it's a catchable ball and it's not, then that should be an error on the outfielder,
Yeah, but that's what I was talking. I mean, that play, anyone could have caught that. Any left fielder could have caught that. But hey, Tats. But what I'm saying, like if he had, like, take for example Brett Gardner. Brett Gardner can span a whole, he could basically play half the outfield, probably. Maybe not now, but in his prime with his speed, he could have covered half an outfield by himself.
Yeah.
A guy like Hunter's probably couldn't. So catchable to one person isn't catchable to another.
Right.
That's what we're getting at. So that's where errors are a tricky thing, and because it's subjective, it's just, I don't love that as a measure. But yeah, I mean, I could, like, if, I don't know if there are specific rules to an error, like saying a guy has to touch it. But that should have been an error because that was a routine catch that he could have made.
Yeah. All right. Well, I noticed, so Matthew is in the chat, and I wanted to show Matthew, I made this for him. So I wanted to get his response, or hold on one second. Let me pull up his intro. All right. So, for Matthew Cali, just wanted to kind of get that, for times that he does come on the show, especially if we do like a segment for the Cubs or something along those lines. But yeah, that's one of the things that I just kind of wanted to get into was, what was going on, with the world of sports, some takeaways, such as like, I wanted to look at real quick. Um, oh, so Garrett Cole, he was pulled as he came within one strike of earning his 20th straight regular season win, which would have tied Roger Clemens, Jake Arrieta, and
One strike or one out?
one strike.
Wait, what?
Yes, one strike. He had too many pitches. He was tired. He basically gave up. Basically started the inning, and he unraveled. So they pulled him. So it was one strike of earning. So it basically was in the fifth inning. So he was not able to.
He had two strikes on the count, and if he threw another one, that doesn't make sense.
If he would have got the batter out, if he would have got, basically it's one strike, of pull basically coming through. So like he had that's the way that it was portrayed, was he had one strike within, or he was in striking distance.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
So maybe like one out. Yeah, that happens. I mean, I did see an article that was saying that for the first time ever, pitchers are averaging less than 5 innings a start. Basically saying that teams are being very cautious this year.
Well, they have to be.
Because of everything. Yeah, because there wasn't a proper spring training, so they're just not allowing guys to go that long. I'm sure, like, Boone, I'm sure Aaron Boone said something to him, and it wasn't.
I don't know. See, it's weird because I was looking at the article, and I mean, in the way they say it, so it says the Yankees won the opener 8-4 as ace Garrett Cole came within one strike of earning his 20th straight regular season win.
Where's that from?
ESPN.
That's so weird. Yeah, I can't imagine they would have pulled him with one strike. That makes no sense. The only time that happens. The only time that happens is when they're injured.
Well, his pitch count, was up. He had a high pitch count. That's why he was pulled.
Yeah, but they never pull someone mid. Even when they have, like in the Little League World Series, they have those pitch count rules, where a pitcher can't throw more than a certain amount of pitches.
Right.
And then, but if you're in the middle of an at bat, you can exceed that number. If the limit is 75 and you start the at bat with 74, you can exceed the 75 for that at bat.
Right.
So, and that whole thing, they must have said something wrong.
Well, it just kind of, it sucks because, like I said, he was looking to tie and be part of a very few elite squad, with Clemens in regards to that. Obviously, Jake Arrieta, Clemens, and Rube Marquardt. So now Carl Hubble, he's got the streak of 24. He leads with 24. And then also the Detroit Tigers, they hit 4 home runs on 11 pitches. So they were coming off of 4 days of not playing. So they had 4 days of rest, and they went right to work really quickly. It was 4 home runs on 11 pitches. That was the first time in 7 years.
Mark Spector Comics said, I'm on the Yankees today. You're on my team? We're not, I mean, maybe
So
we'll play
let's go ahead and just say hello to the chat. So Mark Spector Comics, thank you so much for being here. Matthew Papa Willie. You have Lisa Gorotowski, aka the Pop Goddess. You have Robert Wabasaurus Rex. How are you, bud? And we have Christina Payne. We had Tats is in here. We had Kay Titus, Godzilla, all the way from Japan.
Oh, I see. They're up 1-0.
So, you have Frog Prince. So we appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. Like I said, today is a one of these shows. It's not going to be an extremely long show at all. We're just kind of going over what's going on in the world of sports. As you know, there are some NFL players out there that are opting to not play for health reasons. Because the other thing is this, Tori.
Yeah.
Not only for health reasons, but you're also dealing with guaranteed salaries and non-guaranteed salaries. So you're having a split of the have and have-nots. So 50, for example, Dak Prescott, okay, if he plays only one game in 2020, he still makes $31.4 million.
Right.
But there's still some other players that are non-guaranteed. So based on games that aren't played, they can lose out on a lot of significant money. So right now, the NFL Players Association is wanting to agree that players with fully guaranteed contracts will be paid based on games played. So it's creating a split. Like, for example, you have Aaron Rodgers, who is a non-guaranteed salary this year, but his backup is fully guaranteed. So if players fully guaranteed have their rights undermined by a revised agreement, as some numbers will be very significant, how do you see that playing out? With the players associations, as far as you got your non-guarantee and your guarantees.
Well, I mean, listen, it makes sense. From what I understand is if you decide to opt out of the season, your contract gets extended 1 year, and it's almost like this season never happened in terms of your contract. So, and it makes sense. Like, if I'm an employer, I'm not paying you to not play. Even if, like, okay, the MLB, everyone's salary is fully guaranteed unless you're on a minor league contract. So if guys opted out, why should the team pay you? You have to replace them. And in the NFL, they have a salary cap. So if you're paying the guy, like, it's just a weird. I understand it. Like, if you opt out, and listen, these guys, if you're on a major league or an NFL contract or an NBA contract, listen, I don't feel sorry for you. The minimum is $500,000 a year. So, if you're broke, that's on you.
Yeah. So I guess Matthew is not a big fan of Aaron Rodgers.
No, well, he's a Bears fan.
He said Aaron Rodgers can kiss his ass. um, so let me. Mama J is in the house. Hello, Mama J. Once again, congratulations on 1K for Mama J.
Oh, she reached 1K? Awesome.
Jeremy Knapp is in the house. Thank you.
Great. Now I'm going to have to watch ads.
So one of the other things that I wanted to touch on was some baseball. There's some players now. The thing is even though we have a shortened season, we have some things that are developing with some players that are starting to have a really good season. But I wanted to bring up. Let's see if I can still add that to the stream. Okay, there we go. Let me go back to that. Let me scroll up. So we have some comeback players, some players that are doing some amazing things this year. One of the ones right here, Daniel Bard. Okay, Daniel Bard. He is with the Rockies. Now he's on the mound, and it's a very heartwarming story. The fact is, he was forced from the game at 28. He lost his ability to throw the baseball in the strike zone. But now, 7 years later, he is coming back at 35, and he is doing really well on many levels. So Daniel Bard is having a really good season, and just kind of want to show you here. Boom. So he's definitely having, some success. So what do you think about that, Tori, where you see some players that, have been part of the game, but now they're removed, but they still don't want to let go. Now, some players, they can't try to come back and they can't do it. It's just like, they got to wrap it up. They got to either go coach somewhere, but for Daniel Bard, he's able to reacclimate. He's able to rejuvenate himself and come in and show that he can be a force in the bullpen. So how do you see that with players? Is there a certain stage that you think, you should give it up? Or, if you're 38 years old and you still got it, you got it.
I think it's all about, if you love the game, then keep playing. People talk. Listen, guys who first get minor league contracts, there's all this talk about, the pay. But yeah, they're not getting paid a lot compared to major leaguers, or even, they're getting paid like, I think, $40,000 a year. But to the average American, that's pretty good money.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, as long as you love the game, keep playing.
Okay.
As long as someone will take you. And now players are going to Japan and Korea And now, there's baseball in Australia, there's the Mexican leagues. So, and in Japan and Korea, they're making a couple $1 million a year. So it's not like they're going over there and not making any money comparative to what we're getting, what they're getting over here. It's just the recognition. But, it's sometimes beneficial to go over there. We've seen a bunch of guys not be able to cut it in the major leagues here, go over to Japan or Korea, become very good players over there, and then come back to the major leagues and have successful careers. So, there are all kinds of ways to do it. I mean, the Daniel Bard situation is great because of his story. And there have been a couple of guys like that who have had to take time off due to cancer or whatever. And then they come back and, they're able to make a short career, which is great.
Yeah, I definitely think so. So I wanted to get into a little bit also. I had some pretty much like some breaking news that we had yesterday that I found. So let me go ahead and pull this up here real quick. So we have in the MAC has decided in college just not do it. So the Mid-American Conference announces postponement of fall sports season. So due to continuing concerns related to the COVID, the Council of Presidents unanimously voted to take this action with the health and safety of student athletes, coaches in regards. So the fall sports affected are not only just football, but you have the men and women's cross country, field hockey, soccer, and volleyball. So right now there's no decisions at this point for winter sports. So with the the MAC, doing this, there are going to be some continuing conversations because word is from two Power 5 athletic directors that there's a possibility that 2020 fall season will not be played. That you may see the dominoes falling in place right now with what's going on from the MAC. So there could be more spring football. The question I have is you have some players that are looking to go into the NFL, go into training, go for the draft, the combines, and stuff like that. So, do you play your season? If it's going to go into the spring, you just opt out and say, you know what, look, I'm going to take my chances with the combine. I don't think the NFL is going to necessarily say, look, you didn't play your season with what's going on right now. A lot of players can find ways to stay in shape. So that's the thing that you kind of look at, like, where are these dominoes falling in place now? I mean, you have a smaller school who obviously, the hard part is because of the scholarships. I mean, you have kids that come in on, say, 4-year scholarships and they don't play this year. Are they expected to play for free next year? I mean, that's the thing, is where they got to find ways to get money to be able to feed these programs, to be able to do the recruiting. So when possibly things can get back to a normalcy next year, what is something that you're looking at with this as far as the dominoes? Do you think these bigger schools, I know the players want to play. I know some of the players have come out and said, we want to play. But the question is are they prepared to play? If they do play, where is it going to lead into the fall once, because you are going to get flu season all over the place. And then you have players, even normal years, come down, they get sick, they have things going on. So would you be for them playing in the spring? I mean, do you think that's just something that, or should they just bypass?
Right, instead of doing fall football, do spring football.
That's what they're looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be an option. You could do that. I mean,
Hey, Lonnie.
as far as like draft status, I don't think. I mean, we saw this year, we saw Tua Tagliafico, whatever his last name is.
Yep.
Like
The one.
injured.
Yeah.
He was injured the whole season.
Yeah.
Or most of the season. I can't remember. I think he was out the whole season. But he, and he was expected to be the number one draft pick before the season. And in the draft, that was a big question. It was like, do you draft Tua as one of the top quarterbacks in the draft? And he ended up going number 3, the second quarterback taken. So, if a player is good, teams are still going to take them. They have ways of running physicals, and so I don't think that not playing is going to have an effect on that. But the one thing that I could see is maybe something with like student athlete pay. There's that whole question of, should athletes get paid? Like, I think they should at least be able to get gifts from people.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of, argument, debate with that, because, hey, look, we're going to give you a new car, can you get us to the promised land? Blah, blah. I mean, there's a lot of issues that roll into that. Now, maybe what about after the season's played, they get gifts, but during the season, or I mean, because it's always going to come into perspective. If a quarterback has a bad game, let's say he throws 4 interceptions, and it comes out that previously 2 days, 3 days before, he was given a gift of a new car. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, somebody could say, well, what if he was told that they're going to make a lot of money by him throwing the game? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things.
Yeah, but they could already do that they could people can make up crazy excuses, but if there's
you have more ammunition with getting the fact that you're getting a new car, and 2 days later you're throwing 4 interceptions. So I mean, it's it's one of those things that you have to kind of fall into. Now, if you're going to pay athletes, there's just a lot. How much do you pay the athletes? I mean, because the thing is too, there's a lot of athletes in college, that maybe shouldn't be paid, but because they're on the team, do they get a smaller salary, and the quarterback gets more?
Yeah, I mean, listen, as far as the gifts go, what I'm mainly talking about is like when they're local. There have been stories about like people getting sneakers, players getting sneakers. They're given sneakers by the local store, the local sneaker store, and that should not be against NCAA rules.
Well, I mean, eventually we could get into that. As far as that happening, who knows? But I mean, there's so much to debate with that. But I mean, right now we need to get on the field. We
Right.
need that's
But
that's one of the things that
well,
we need
I
to do.
think
So
I'm just thinking like maybe that comes into play a little more because if something does happen with scholarships,
yeah, but
from the way I understand it is if you have a full scholarship, you will also get some kind of stipend.
yeah. Well, let me. I got some breaking news story that just came in, so I want to bring that on real quick. It appears that we do have a guest, a part of the show host, someone that is dear to our hearts. And let me go ahead and introduce him, none other than. Mr. Will be popping. How are you, bud?
Good, you? Sorry I'm late, man.
Good.
I had to finish cutting the grass and doing some things.
Man, that grass must. That thing grows so much? It seems like you're always having to attack that thing. You have to there's the green monster Fenway. So in the backyard you must have like another green monster going on.
No,
With
but you
the
got to cut it every, at least once a month because it grows fast. Plus, we've had a lot of rain the past few
yeah.
weeks, so it's been growing. It's never ending.
So, well, welcome, Mr. Captain America. Welcome.
Oh, nice. What's
Yeah,
going on?
well,
Hello to everyone in chat.
yeah, we're just kind of talking today a little bit about stuff that's going on right now. How the colleges, the smaller colleges, the MAC, is saying they're going to shut down their season for fall.
Okay.
And we're looking at maybe the dominoes falling in place. Some of the bigger schools are going to have their meetings next week, Monday and Tuesday. So word is that from two Power 5 athletic directors that there's a possibility that 2020 fall season will not come into play, and that they will most likely have spring. Now, obviously, that crowds everything because you still have baseball, you have the draft, there's a lot of things that are going on. So all these sports are delaying. So what's your thoughts on that, Will? Like, I mean, if we're starting to see the trend, like the Cardinals are having some issues with having some of their series get it pushed away. If we're starting to see this to where there's no end in sight, do we keep chancing it? Do you keep putting, the athletes and their families at risk? Or do we say, you know what, guys, what's more important right now? Like, I know we want sports. I know it's something we miss and we love, the crack of the bat. We love that, let me show you this right here is one of the things that we definitely miss right here. Boom, we love that contact there, Mr. Wizard of Oz, we definitely miss it. You do have the basketball that is going on right now, which is, awesome. But football right now, there's only one team that actually has a plan in place, and I don't even know if it's going to be a legitimate plan, but as far as how to address the COVID throughout the season, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. So
Matthew just said earlier that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be doing like a hotel type thing.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They do have the opportunity to look at baseball and to look at basketball and kind of sit back and tinker a little bit, say, well, we were going to do this like baseball, but now we got to tinker. And then Matthew had a comment for you, Will.
Love you, Matthew.
Andrew, cap the amount of gifts it can be. But generally, so that's kind of what we're looking at, Will. So what's your thoughts on, like obviously the MAC is putting the dominoes in place. So how is this going to transpire? You even had, okay, Will, some of the football players have opted out this year, like the running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, Damian Williams, who did really well in the World Super Bowl.
A shit
And
ton of my Patriots opted out too. A shit ton.
There's Dante Hightowers, Patrick Chung.
Yeah.
So where does that put things? Like, how do you feel?
Honestly, it's basically. I mean, I've been saying this where, like, I would love to be watching sports. I would be, I would have loved to watch, like the Stanley Cup 2 months ago when it should have happened and everything. But it's like, I mean, I've been saying this for a while. What's more important, sports or people's lives and safety and all these other things? And the more that we try and move on, it's the more that we just set ourselves back, So until there's like a definite plan of how we can attack this, go about it, do things in a safely manner, then it's just going to keep on pushing it back, delaying the inevitable, where this is just going to keep on dragging on until we lose another sports season, where I mean, I did hear a few weeks ago that some of the big college, like divisions are not going to be doing anything outside of their divisions. So I forget if it was Oklahoma or LSU or one of them, one of those big teams said that they're not leaving their own division. So they're only going to be playing teams within their own conference and everything.
Yeah.
You have the thing is you have top players like Jalen Twyman and Neil Farrell from LSU that are opting out. So
and they have every right to do it without any repercussions, because you can't make these kids or these adults that are playing these professional sports choose between their health and their family's health or a game that, they've been playing since they were kids. It's not right of the owners and whatnot to make these people choose. They should just make the decision for them and just bite the bullet and come back strong next year, But, like I said, just keep on pushing it back. You're learning from your mistakes, but I mean, that's not really getting you anywhere. Every single day you hear more players are getting tested in all the 4 sports and whatnot. I know 7 Pats opted out, and there's going to be more, Matthew. Shut up. All right? We're not going to have a damn Patriots team by the end of this.
Well, I mean, especially you look at the depth, I mean, obviously teams, they need depth and the fact that, with training is going to be a little bit different, heading into the season, it's such a grind. You do run in. Okay. I mean, are you going to have players that all of a sudden
injuries? You're going to get players that are going to get injured because they're not going to have enough practice and training time, and they're going to try and rush everything. Because right now, these players should have been training and practicing and getting these game scrimmages in for the past month and a half, basically. So now you're going to be rushing, trying to start the season in 4 weeks, is it, or something like that? I mean, you're going to get a lot of big name guys who are going to be injured really, really quickly because they're not at that level that they should be. So now we're going to have Keanu Reeves playing the quarterback with some teams. You're going to have these replacement players coming in because that's what it is. That's what it's going to end up being. And I don't want to see it.
That's a good point. The replacements, I mean, Keanu Reeves. You're also going to have, I mean, there's going to be some players that are going to decide, they may start the season and all of a sudden, oh, my shoulder hurts, I can't finish this. I mean, there's going to be a lot of that scenario. And I know a lot of people do want to play. And I know that's a normalcy to want to play
Yeah.
the sport that you've been playing.
And we want to watch it. We want to watch it. But I want to watch at a level of excellency. I don't want to watch a subpar game just because of what's going on. Like, if you can't give 100% of what you guys been doing for years now, don't put it out there. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. Like, if you're on Broadway or like you're doing something else, if you're not up to par, you take a sick day and then someone else comes in. So if you guys are not able to do it at a high level, just take the loss and move on, come back strong. You know, it's just, I mean, like I said, I haven't watched a baseball game at all like this season. I haven't watched any hockey. I haven't watched any basketball. I don't plan on watching it because it's not what I want to watch at this point, you know? Because I disagree with what they're doing, how they're going about it. It's just, I would rather them, like I said numerous times, come back strong next year. I can sacrifice a year.
What if football is able to create a model? I mean, what if they're able to look at everything and, you know, they haven't started their season. You know, so what if they are able to form an idea about coexisting and
Well, let
being
me
able
ask you this real quick, Eric. Let me ask you this. Baseball is not so much a contact sport. Everyone is kind of spaced out, you know. Hockey, yeah, you do get close in and everything. Basketball, you like your close. Football is a contact sport. The whole entire time you are touching each other, you're next to each other, you're in the huddle, you're doing all this stuff. So if one person, you have to literally put, 50 some odd people in a bubble for 6 months. You have to go from your house to like the stadium. You can't go anywhere because if you get it outside because you don't want to stay inside and you go out to like the club or you go to the bar, wherever you live, or you do all this stuff, and then you bring it back to like one person can affect the whole team, then like they're done. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why people are going to assume going to haven't gotten shit right in years, you know.
Well, what about this though? With football, okay, they're in pads. They
Yeah.
they some of them, you know, have the gloves. If they have type of helmets that maybe be more where they can see, but they're maybe like a helmet
Like
like
a
you
hockey,
under.
like a hockey full guard, like a full plastic shield. Like some hockey players wear the full mask. I can
Yeah.
understand that, but it's still. Are you going to take away from the game by changing certain things? Are these players going to be able to play the same way they've always played and stuff? You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it brings down how the game was played, is it worth it to play? Or like I've said numerous times, I'm going to keep on saying it. Just take the L and learn from all this, get healthy, come back strong next year. Because like I said, if this kicks off, we're a month or two into like the season, we have a big outbreak, or like because of something that drags it back even more, and then more. Then that goes into, because you got to think, basketball and hockey is supposed to be starting back up in October, right? Basically, or unless they push the season. So now you're going to have that.
Basketball has started. Basketball has started with what's going on right now as well. But I mean, to start back up, those are the things. Those are the things that you also look at as like, okay, what if as a player you contract it and you're running in a situation with your family, maybe a small child or an elderly mother, grandmother, things like that, that you end up losing because you chose to play. Now, I know in sports we're dealing with money. It obviously becomes that factor. The owners, want the players to play. They want to get the TV revenue. They want to make sure that because there's also another side of things that will be losing out, and that is the gambling industry you have in Las Vegas. They stand to lose a lot of money with not having sports to be bet on. You have
People's priorities are messed up if they're concerned about the owners making the money and all this type of stuff, and then the gambling. If that's where they're focused on, then screw them. Like, that's not where the priority lies. Like, the priorities lie in the actual human beings that are risking their lives to play this game, to bring a sport that we all love to us, for us. So if they're prioritizing money over health and safety, that's, like, to me, that's wrong.
Exactly. But you're going to have, I mean, you always have that side. You know, there is the good side, the dark side. And that they're just like, I mean, you see it anyways. Like when I'm going in town, I see people that aren't wearing masks and they're walking around. So you have people that think, you know, I'm healthy, I feel okay. Why can't we just do this? So you have other countries that have been able to take it on a more serious note. You know, and then some people in our country are not, and that's why we're seeing some things go the way that they go. So I mean, that is my personal opinion as well, is like shut things down between now and the end of the year. Like we're already in August, you have a couple more months, 4 months. Like let's see if we can not provide host for the virus and just see what it does. You know, not having the ability to, you know, continue to travel through. And I know it's hard because, you know, you get summertime, people want to go out, they want to travel, they want to be on the lake, they want to go camping, they want to hang out at amusement parks. Then it rolls into sports. You know, people want to be in the stadiums, they want to play. It's what we have done. But the thing is, it's not about what we've done, it's what we want to be doing in the future. It's about what our family is most important. I mean, that's the bottom line. Is if anything happens, like if an asteroid hit us, or you know, we had a huge amount of fire, you know, causing opportunity for injury, death, things like that, we stand up. We need to stand up. Well, this is something as well. Do we stand up to the world of sports and say, look, guys, I know you want to play and I know you want to be there for us, but we as fans need to let you know what? You're more important with your lives. So we're not coming to your games. We're not going to support it. So you know what? We're going to send a message to you. Shut it down. You know, shut it down. And that's, I mean, and that's such the biggest debate right now, because you do have players that do want to play. They're coming in healthy. They're these young kids that want to get their careers going, their football. They just signed their letter of intent. It's going to be their year. They're going to Notre Dame. They're going to LSU. They want to get their 4-year thing going so they can start playing in college on to the NFL. You have players that just came into the NFL. So, I mean, you have players that, here's the other side of the coin too. You have players that maybe like someone like Larry Fitzgerald, who is looking at one more year.
Tail end. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, and I mean, to be able to go out, but at the same time, the overall factor is your life.
Yep.
And it's, and some players, I don't want to say that, I don't want to answer for them, but it's just the way that if everybody's trying to make it work, you know, like we're trying to put an object, we're taking an object and putting it into another object that just doesn't match up. You know, like we're trying to force something to fit. And that's kind of what you're running into. And it's going to come back to bite you in some ways. We've already seen it. Yep. You know, we're seeing it in a lot of ways. You know, I mean, the St. Louis Cardinals, I mean, that should be your number one. It went from the Miami Marlins to the St. Louis Cardinals. And I mean, where does it go from there? And then you have other sports, you know, like that's the other thing that I worry about too. You just had the UFC had a fight last night. Hold on one second. We just had the UFC do a fight. Well, what kind of contact is that, right? I mean, you know, it's not like they're 6 feet apart jabbing at each other. So, I mean, obviously but the players are getting tested or they're getting scanned. But at the same time, what if they are in the stages of development and maybe when they get scanned, they don't have it, but they are in the development stage of it and they do, and now it transpires. You know what I mean?
Well, like you can have it for a week or two with showing no symptoms, but you have it. Like everyone shows different symptoms, you know, like symptoms. Not everyone has like the same, you know, how it feels, you know, for you. So you can have it for a week or two and not even know it and feel absolutely fine. but then you get tested and you tested positive, which without showing like any symptoms. So now you have to think about how many people have I seen in the past week or two? How many people have I may have been in contact with? Like if you're going to work, maybe you touch someone's hand or their arm or something without even knowing it sometimes. So now you got to reach out to people and let them know, and it's just a headache. So it's just yeah.
It is. I was going to say the other thing I just thought about when you're talking about that being in contact. What about with sports, the compounds where packages, FedEx, UPS are being delivered to these complexes? Maybe somebody's getting a replacement jersey or something that's coming through, and that FedEx driver maybe has diagnosed or just come down like not knowing. And they're transferring stuff on packages. You know what I mean? Like there's ways that things can be spread, right?
Well, it tells you that like it stays on cardboard for such a long time. It stays on plastic for such a long time. It stays on metal for such a long time. So it can just be, and with the amount of where it goes from this facility to that facility, how many hands touch that? How many people have handle that one thing to get to like the final destination? And at one facility, that's all it takes is one place where it can come in contact, and then you don't even so if you don't handle the packages right, every time I get a box in like the mail, I get it, I bring it in, I sanitize immediately after. I don't touch my face, I don't touch anything, even with like the envelopes, like mail and stuff like that gets like put on like the counter, sanitize afterwards. I don't touch them, just because how many hands have been on that? Where has that been? You don't know where it's been. So it's just like you have to take the precautions in order to keep yourself safe. Because I see like a lot of family members. I see like my grandma. I see like my dad. These people are all highly what's the word?
Receptive. Highly.
Yeah. Like it would affect them a lot worse than it would affect me. So I'm taking every precaution step that I need to do to make sure that not only I stay safe, but I keep them safe as well.
Well, like my mom's got stage 4 lung cancer, and and she's battling and she's hanging in there. So something like this, she cannot, is not something that she can handle and deal with on that basis. So anytime like we go to visit, as the boys, they're always washing their hands, they got their masks, but I also tell, my aunt, please don't take her to, the stores, really limit, the contact, as much as possible.
My grandmother hasn't been inside a grocery store in forever. We do the shopping for her. There's no sense in her going in there with a bunch of people to even take a chance. You know what I'm saying? That's just
and that's the thing about like when they talk about like they want to get people out there in the workforce, and the thing is okay, like I get some of that aspect, but like for example, if you go work in a grocery store, people are in grocery stores all the time, and I see people that go in there, and for example, they walk like I went to Taco Bell, right? And the guy came in and he didn't have his mask on, but he went to go put it on as he was already in the store. It's like, dude, you could have already just, and so it's like you have people that are going to do that, and so it doesn't. You can't cap everybody. You cannot allow everybody to follow the rules. I mean, the people are going to think that they're exempt. So in the world of sports, do you have the egos? Do you have these players that I'm healthy? I'm fine. You know what I mean? But the thing is you could still be a carrier and not know it. So that's what you're looking at is the unknown factor. What is the unknown? We just can't count and allude to that. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. So
and if we don't know, there shouldn't be sports. If you can't answer like that question, then they're just move on. Wait till next season and do it then. Like just the what ifs and like maybe this will work, maybe that will work. Maybe you just don't play this season and then
it's not worth even like losing one life. I mean, so it's just not.
And we've lost thousands and thousands.
So I mean, that's kind of what I look at. But so real quick, I wanted to kind of touch on I have now that you're on, I kind of had this thing that I wanted to ask you guys. It's kind of just a little bit on the off topic side, but it's who's most likely to. So it's between Will and Tori, and I just wanted to see who you guys thought would be most likely to. So it's just a couple of them that I wanted to kind of touch on. But so who do you think would be most likely to be way down to go to Chuck E. Cheese? Now, Chuck E. Cheese, I don't know if you guys have any there or if you remember Chuck E. Cheese, but it's a so now Tori, is it going to be Tori that's going to be way down to want to go to Chuck E. Cheese, or do you think Will's going to be first one in the car?
I think you're going to be the first one.
I was gonna say maybe 8-year-old me would be the first one inside that car.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are going to be jumping to go there.
Okay, so which one of you then would most likely wake up with half a burrito in his bed?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. So
No. Maybe something like Mickey D's or something like that after a late night. I can speak on that. I have woken up with a burger and fries that never been touched at like the next morning on my lap. So yeah, I can say that I have had burgers and fries just not touched next to me. So, but I was on the couch.
On the couch? All right.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say hey to Sweetly. I guess he or she asked for a shout out and whatever.
Yeah, I'm not reading the chat too often. Sorry.
Okay, so M3 Lion says it's so hard to control COVID, wash and clean. My wife has seen so many COVID patients at the hospital, and luckily she has not caught it. Yes, even like the boy's mom works at a facility, a medical facility, and she talks about how some new cases come through, but they're now putting them in a situation where she may actually work remote. Because of that, and that's the thing is, we're still waiting. Our school district is meeting on Monday with the local hospital here in regards. And so there's a lot to still be taken on. But one more I wanted to see, who's most likely to be obsessed with beards?
Well,
more so my beard, not anyone else's.
And this one I think falls, under maybe Tori, and when he's kind of like in his alone time, Tori, do you like to freestyle your rap? Throw up your, maybe do a little rap about Boston. So I have some breaking news. Let me go ahead here real quick. We do have some breaking news, and this is definitely want to bring this on here. So we do have somebody joining us, and an amazing young man, and I'm sure big fan of Will Be Poppin'. Let's go ahead and bring him on. And there he is.
Dueling fingers.
Matthew. Hey, Matthew. How are you, Matthew? So Matthew, just wanted to say welcome. Like I said, do you like your intro, Matthew?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was working on that, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to put on there. I was looking for some either some wrestling. I went with the Cubs, but just wanted to put that on there. So when you do become a guest on our show and things like that, now Matthew is a huge sports person as well. Wrestling, loves the Cubs,
Should have had
the
Steve
Bears.
Bartman in the corner just sitting there like this during his
Well,
intro.
So Matthew, from your standpoint, I mean, do you think that they should be playing sports? Do you think with what you've seen so far with the season, do you think that the football should try to learn from it as much as possible and take a shot and see what they can do? Or do you think, hey, look, life is just too precious, um, your thoughts, Matthew, like how do you feel about that, bud?
yeah.
And then
Hey,
we got
Mama J.
Mama J's. And then we got a request, Will, for the finger. You have your big finger, your big wooden one.
Yeah, it's over here. It's kind of hiding.
You need to start keeping that around. That's becoming like a staple for you. That's one of your go-tos. So, like I said, that's kind of how we are with sports right now. I would love to be doing a show where we're going over some highlights, and we're kind of going over some great baseball highlights, going over some talk about football and training camp as we enter August. We usually start getting the weekend, the games to start. And then obviously, we got the hockey on the horizon. Just things that would be, obviously college football. So there's a lot that would be going in that direction. Originally, when we started with Sports Pop Talk, that's kind of what we wanted to do. Now we also need, our sports pops, and Tori, had one earlier with Gary Sanchez. Is there still, Matthew, do you have any sports pops that you enjoy? Will, is there like one that you either want or that you?
I still got to pick up the new Xander Bogaerts one just to add to my Red Sox collection. But I got this in the mail the other day. For those of you who didn't watch the video, this was a custom that #Larry made for me. And with the glare, you might not be able to see it, but he turned Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn into a Roger Clemens pop for me. So he put the B on there, put the stripes on the uniform and everything. So he turned this whole thing into a Red Sox jersey outfit.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Let me while you guys are so Matthew says
Roger Clemens, who's gonna, if he ever gets into the Hall of Fame, is gonna go in as a Yankee.
No. No, he'll go in as a Red Sox if he makes it.
Okay, so let me real quick. I'm pulling this up for. We had a request in the audience, and I wanted to get some information on that. So Andrew, he wants to know a little bit more about motorsports. He likes his motorsport. And definitely, like I said, you have some things that are coming up with the motorsports, I believe, today. So this weekend, we did have some Indy that I believe happened. And I'm just going to see if I can pull that up real quick because I did see that earlier. Let's see. Give me one quick second. But, hey, why don't you go ahead and, Will and Tori, go ahead and let me know about anything that's going on with you guys. Things like that.
Just putting out videos, and that's pretty much it.
Well, I'm pulling up some NASCAR news. Like I said, in regards, I'm seeing if I can.
No one likes NASCAR.
Yes, we do have people that like NASCAR.
There's nothing wrong with NASCAR.
So today NASCAR is going to have a race. It is going to be at 3:00 on the Eastern side, I believe, 3:00 Eastern time. So NASCAR is going to be in the works. So that is a good thing there. I have shown NASCAR. I have it down. Let me go ahead and pull it up real quick. I had it written down on my notes because, believe it or not, I did know that there was some NASCAR out there. Yes, so the Michigan International Speedway. Okay, so the poll, Andrew, was set based on how fast the drivers finished yesterday. So Kevin Harvick had won on Saturday. And so right now you're going to have 2 Fords up front and 2 Chevys second. And so that is going to be your NASCAR information update. But Kevin Harvick is sitting in that top spot. So that is your NASCAR update. Now that Matthew and Will are on here, I wanted to go back to something as well because I wanted to get your input on this. So let me go ahead and get this information up because it's important.
Let me just say, just real quick, congrats to Matthew for reaching 200 subscribers yesterday. So congrats to him. I know he's doing a little mini live later on tonight, I think at 5 p.m. Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken, right, Matthew?
Yep.
So 4, okay. 4. All right, yeah. So everyone go over there and support Matthew and everything, and he'll be coming on my 200.
Matthew, that's awesome. Good job on that. Great milestone to start, and you're going to still continue to climb. So awesome. Appreciate that. All that you do for everybody, Matthew. And like I said, so let me go ahead and pull this up. I wanted to get Matthew and Will's input real quick. So I'm going to show you this. And
high to left field. Pence doesn't see it. He does not see it. And it's going to fall behind him. So Kike Hernandez is going to.
So what that was is Johnny Cueto had a no-hitter going on. And so there was a fly ball that for the most part is catchable, should be caught, and it did not. So Hunter Pence, obviously a veteran, should have caught the ball. Now Cueto went on to give up a 3-run homer. They still won the game, the Giants did, but he did lose more, in regards to his no-hitter and shutout. But my question that I had earlier with Torrey, and this is something, Matthew and Will, that to get your insight. Now, should that be an error or a hit? Because now this is a catchable ball, and this is an outfielder, and that's one of the things they look at is, hey, I know it landed and you didn't touch it, but technically an error. So, I mean, that's what you agree on, right?
Yeah, no, I would say that's an error because whether it gets lost in the lights or he just never tracked it from the get-go, that is an error. If it's in the play, and I mean, I can understand, if you try and if you're diving for it or something like that, those are most of the time, those are hits and stuff. But that right there, when you make no effort because you can't because you have no clue where it is. My opinion, that should be an error, because that ball landed, 5 feet behind you, 10 feet behind you?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I mean, I know that from playing baseball, the first thing you're supposed to do, if you don't know where it, like what it is, you know, like where the ball is going to go, like if you can't track it properly, you backpedal like a little bit. So you always take some, you know, like, so like you always backpedal, because it's easier to go forward than it is back. So he never made any attempt to move whatsoever until after the ball lands. And there's 3 guys in like the outfield by the time that ball lands. So the other guys were tracking it. They just couldn't get there.
Yeah, and
So
I
that's
mean,
an error to me.
And I'm wondering, you know, was there a lack of concentration before the pitch? You know, maybe something thinking about something else. Because I mean, Hunter Pence is obviously a veteran, you know, and he's made great plays in right field for the Giants and come up with some great catches. You know, so you look at it like, okay, what, you know, obviously, like, is it a mental error? You know, and that's what you got to look at. Okay, like it may not be a physical error, but this is a mental error, and it should go down as an error. And so therefore, like the no hit should still stay intact. Now the hard part is because what if this was into the 9th inning and you had 2 outs and this happens? You know, do you as Major League Baseball say, yes, you know, we do recognize this as an error. You still will get your no hitter. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the things you have to kind of look at as a hard standpoint, because it could have went down that way. You know, very
but
much.
that takes away from like the game, if you ask me, where like they've reversed many calls after the game was already over, and if I'm not mistaken, they have like reversed a few wins after the game's like been over, because those like the runs didn't count or something like that. So just like that takes away from being in there. So if that ball was not caught and they change it to like an error, he doesn't give up the 3 runs or nothing like that, and it ends up being a no hitter basically, then he doesn't get to celebrate with his teams. He gets an email, or he gets told next time he goes to like the ballpark, hey, you know, Major League Baseball like, you know, like reversed it, and you got like a no hitter. Yeah. Okay, cool, thanks. It means nothing to me now. I have to pitch in 4 days. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
I just know, you know, like I said, when I wonder too, I mean, part of me, you know, somebody might say, oh, well, if there's fans in the stands, you know, maybe, you know, he gravitates back to where it is. But I mean, anytime you're playing baseball, like if we're just out there playing, just you and me, and, you know, all 4 of us are out there hitting the ball, I mean, it's just something you got to do. You got to make that catch, you know. So it has nothing to do with, you know, fans. It's all about just that concentration. I really think that that's kind of what happened is he lost concentration, and he was in the middle of something, and the ball came his way. And when he finally just said, wait a minute, somebody hit the ball, and then he didn't realize that because he didn't move. So, yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I wanted to throw in there. And, you know, just kind of just looking at everything in general with this world of sports that we got going on. I've seen some places be successful, whether it be like, say, soccer is doing some things, or, you know, you have your basketball right now that's playing, you know, but at what point, you know, and that's where it comes down to, is because if they do lose even one life, it's not success, you know. I mean, we didn't make it, you know. So yeah, so I mean, that's one of the things they have to guard, you know, and looking into, not just about padding the pockets for the owners and the contracts for the stations and stuff, the TV. But I do have a quiz to pull up, guys. Now that you guys are, oh well, so Matthew does have his name. But I do have a quiz to pull up that I just wanted to run through with you guys real quick, just see how well you guys do.
Hey Matthew, how them Bears doing, buddy?
Not doing anything.
But are the Bears actually going to be able to have a quarterback this year that can do something? So here is the joinmyquiz.com. So we'd love for you guys to go ahead and no big deal if you guys don't know everything. Just give it a shot, have some fun with it. It's joinmyquiz.com, and the code is 446703. And just kind of, like I said, wanted to throw that out there. But
What
yeah,
kind of quiz is it?
so it's going to be a little bit of mixture. It's going to be some baseball, some basketball, some football. Some of them, like I said, basically like, who is this person? So it's a couple, I think it's like 15 questions. So we'll see, who can come through with the knowledge and go from there. So better with Nick Foles. So is Nick Foles, did he sign with the Bears?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, it's gonna be a competition between him and Trubisky.
Mhm.
yeah. Well, that's gonna.
Competition.
Well, I mean, neither one of them can stay healthy, so that's the hard part of it. So, but I mean, I think the Bears have more holes to fill right
Yeah.
now. That's the hard part. There's a lot of holes for them to fill. But yeah, so I wanted to go ahead and just throw this little quiz in there, give you guys one. And let's see. And we'll just so it's 11:42, so we'll run it here in a few minutes. We'll give a couple more minutes. So Matthew, obviously, you're gonna have your celebration. And in regards, and even though sometimes you might hit a certain number, but you say, a couple people, the next day it kind of drops off or whatever. Sometimes it's just YouTube going through and cycling their stuff. So you still could, have those numbers. It could just pop up another day later. So, either way, like, it's a great milestone that you did. So awesome. Congratulations with that, bud. And, so Matthew, like I said, your package sent you on the way. So the trade that we did, so you should be getting that. And then like I said, threw a couple of extra things in the lunchbox for you, bud.
Mhm.
And yeah, I appreciate you doing that. Matthew. Let me go ahead and pull that up. So, one of the things Matthew was able to do was he pulled, and Matthew, awesome rapping,
You
by the way.
gotta make yourself big, yeah.
Yes, sir. Awesome rapping, by the way, on Matthew. I gotta learn how to do that, Matthew. That's awesome how with the rapping. But one of the things, I'm a huge and so Matthew had pulled this, and it was something that I told him, hey, I would like to have it in my collection. I don't have it yet, and we can make a trade for it. So I got Judith Grimes, the daughter of Rick Grimes, very big part of the Walking Dead. So I now have that for my collection. Um, so that's awesome. I really appreciate that, Matthew. Um, and so, like I said, yours should be there probably Tuesday. So, but other than that, we'll go ahead and get this. It's 11:44, so at 11:45 I run this, and we'll go from there.
I
And then,
just picked this one up.
oh, okay, let me see this real quick.
Rick
Oh,
Ryan.
you got Rick. Nice. I
And
think
what?
I have that one, but I
Probably
have out of
it's
box.
it's not expensive. It's like I picked it up for $5 from Monthly Pops because it's a little damaged.
Yeah.
But the damage is on the bottom, so like who cares?
Yeah.
Now, do you like the Walking Dead as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
And actually, I don't know if it's still up, but if you're interested, if you're on Facebook,
Uh-huh.
there's a Monthly Pops VIP group. And so the other day I just joined like on Thursday or Friday, and they posted a VIP link where Parker put up a bunch of pops that were just for VIPs. It was a special link just for the Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up Daryl on the motorcycle.
Oh, nice. Very awesome. Well, I'll have to look into it. I'll reach out to you a little bit more and get some information about that. So let me go ahead and run this quiz for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and push the button. Good luck. Just do the best you can. Don't worry about, like, just have fun with it. right. So Dana's BFF looks like
Come on.
There was one question I have issue with.
okay.
The MLB was not founded in 1910.
Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the questions. MLB was founded in what year? So let me go ahead and take a look here. So what I did pull off of MLB trivia questions when you type it in, and I'm going to see here real quick. So what year do you think that it was?
Well, according to the choices, it was 1889, but the first official games were played in 1876.
Well, I have. So what it said was MLB founded on which year, and they came up with 1903. So that's kind of just what I went off of in regards. But so we do have that one there. Let's go through 5. So I selected 1910, right? Is that what I had down there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I just like I said, I was doing that last night at probably like 1 in the morning. Gotta stop doing them at 1 in the morning. No worries. Let's see here. Let's go through. Who was the first pitcher to pitch over 100 miles an hour? Tom Seaver. Now, Aroldis Chapman does throw over 100, but was not the first one. Captain Clutch is the nickname for what player? Yes, Derek Jeter. And who holds the longest winning streak for college football? As you can see in the picture, you have the Oklahoma Sooners. Which NFL team had the longest postseason victory drought in the NFL history? And the Minnesota Vikings actually were able to win in the postseason. They got to the Super Bowl. Same thing with Washington and Cincinnati. But Arizona actually had the longest postseason drought. Which NFL team took 32 years to win their first playoff game? It was the New Orleans Saints. And name the only 2 players, non-kickers, that played in more than 300 games. And yes, it was Jerry Rice and Brett Favre is what they had down. Now, some of the other players may possibly come close to that as well, with Joe Montana, Chris Irvin. How many total teams are there in the NBA? There is 30 teams. And who scored the most points in one game? And it was Wilt Chamberlain. He scored 100. Kobe Bryant did come close. He scored like 80, 87, like that.
81.
81.
81.
And not only that, it was either the day before or the day after he scored the fewest points. He scored like 7, and it was against the same team, technically, Toronto Raptors. Which NBA team won the most consecutive titles? And it was the Boston Celtics. They won 6. Or I believe I even want to say 8 when I did that. Let's see. Which MLB player has the most hits in a season? It was Ichiro. Who was the first professional baseball team to introduce salary players? And yes, it was the Cincinnati Red Stockings. They were the first team to do that. What player, as you can see in the picture, is nicknamed Wizard of Oz? And it's not Ozzie Smythe. It is Ozzie Smith. Who is nicknamed the Fridge? And that would be William Perry. All you guys got that. Who is nicknamed Beast Mode? And yes, as you can see in the picture there, it is Marshawn Lynch. And who is known as Big Papi?
You know Big Papi.
Big Papi is not Willie Stargell or Frank Thomas, but it is David Ortiz. And who is known as Rhino? Rhino is not one. Is Ryan Sandberg. So you have that there. So awesome. So Matthew was able to pull that away. Very cool. So other than that, I mean, that's kind of where we are in with this segment. We come into it each week wondering what's going to happen with the world of sports. We try to tack on some of the segments, the headlines, things that are coming through. Obviously, one of the segments, one of the segments that we talked about earlier was, Tyler Skaggs, unfortunately, who passed away. Was given painkillers from one of the operations from the Angels, and that gentleman is now facing, due to a text message and stuff like that. This guy here is going to be going to jail. Unfortunately for Tyler Skaggs, bless his heart, he is no longer with us. So we have that we have discussed. We obviously are dealing with college football, making possibly a wise choice of not playing in the fall. Too many unknowns, and that may domino effect into the other higher ranked college teams. What happens with some of the players that were looking to play their last year? What happens with the eligibility, the scholarships? There's all kinds of things that fall under that curtain, under that house, big top. But the number one thing that, as Will had said, lives are at stake. And that's kind of what we're looking at here, guys, is the lives that are at stake. So you got to go out. You got to protect your loved ones. You got to do everything you can. Take this on a serious note. Because sports is awesome. Everybody loves the thrill of October for the World Series. The banging the boards with the hockey. The football, the Super Bowl. Everything that sports has provided for us. That's why we're here, because we love sports. The guys on the panel, big sports enthusiasts. Each week, we're going to take our time, our thoughts, and give that to you. Sometimes it might be a little smack talking. Sometimes it can be a little on the serious side. It just depends what the world of sports has to provide for us. So, you got your racing, you got your wrestling, you have baseball. You have a lot of things that are going on that possibly maybe shouldn't be, but we have to see how it goes. Because safety, that is definitely the number one priority. But we appreciate you guys chat, just being here today and spending a little bit of time with us. Like I said, with Christina Payne, Robert, you have Andrew Weeble, Mama J stopping in. We have M3 Lions. Just going through that a little bit. I know we saw.
We had a couple of new people too.
Yeah, and I mean it's always nice, like I said, sometimes the weekend you have things to do, but I mean just pop in, say hi, hang out with us a little bit, just grab a cold one. I mean, Jeremy Knapp, Lonnie, Miss Phoenix Poptastic, just kind of going up and down through there. So Frog Prince, Lisa Goratowski. So we appreciate you guys coming in and supporting. It's like gentlemen on the panel. You guys have so much to do. Like Will, I know. I mean, you must have a consistent supply of batteries to put in you. You're always going, keep going. Same thing, Matthew. You're always supporting in the lives. Saw you last night with Booze and Pops, Will as well. So there's a lot going on. And that's the beauty of it, is the friendships that form, our community that builds strength, and sports is part of that. Sports is definitely part of that. So I appreciate you guys being here. Tori, always willing to be right on the bat, to lead things off and help things out. So definitely, you guys, enjoy your day today. You guys in the chat, go spend some time, with loved ones. Keep people safe. Just smile and stay positive. As Christina Payne always says, spread the love. Because it's always important. So Matthew, we will say with you, you have a big deal coming up later on, correct? With your 200. That is later on today, correct? And go ahead. What time was that again, Matthew? Go ahead and bring that in. You can type it in the private chat for me if you can. We'll kind of that way. I'll have that popped up. And so and Will, I know next week, you got some, a big week coming ahead next week as well. So that's awesome. We'll get into that in a second as well. So 2 p.m. my time, so 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys stop by, say hello. Definitely go ahead and give Matthew a few of these because he loves them. It's definitely important. Show him some love. But we'll be popping. So heading into the week coming up, what do we have going on?
Well, tomorrow I was meant to post it yesterday, but I wasn't able to. But tomorrow I'll be putting up the video announcing the my 200 live. A subscriber giveaway live that I'm going to be doing on Saturday with Christina, Dana, Batman Popster, Matthew, and Dallas, and it's going to be a fun night. So I'll be putting that video out tomorrow. And Matthew is actually one of the people that I'm going to be having people go to show support, follow him, subscribe, all that stuff in order to win one of the giveaways. So and then I'm just doing my normal Tuesday, Thursday videos this week. And then, like I said, Saturday night, we're going to be doing a live. It's going to be fun. So if you guys got nothing planned, come on by Saturday night. It's going to be my first live on the channel. So it should be fun. Okay. It's going to be a fun week, a long week, but it's going to be fun.
All right. And so once again, we'll go ahead and Tori.
Yeah, just putting videos out every day, and I have my live show on Saturdays, and then I'm back here, and then I do the same thing over and over and over again.
All right. So what that is, what's going on for that. And like I said, even for myself, just kind of supporting and being out there with the lives, and just kind of making some videos. We just put up a Saturday shopping and popping video, spending some time at the mall with the boys. It's always a great deal. We want to go out to the beach, maybe possibly later, like go to find a remote area, because there are a few of them around here. But definitely you guys in the chat, have yourself a blessed, awesome day. Just want to go ahead and go through these guys' intros because they are amazing, supporting and being here. So just to end it out, once again, we got Matthew. And we got we have Mr. Tory. All right, and I'm your host, Eric. So once again, we appreciate you guys being with us. Every Sunday, we will be talking sports, talking smack. You never know which way it'll go, so make sure you tune in. It's 1 o'clock Eastern time, 10 Pacific. Great week coming up. So be ready to go in the community. A lot of things to support and be a part of. So definitely looking forward to that. So this is Sports Pop Talk, and we are signing off for the day. So you guys, real quick, just wanted to make sure. So Robert, I just want to let you know that he just subbed to Tori and Matt. So awesome. So thank you again. Spread the love. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Um, the B is for Boston baked beans.
The B is for bullshit.
Yeah.
And yes, one more thing. So Scream Stream, this coming up week, we have a big guest with Dead Skeleton and
nice.
Average Will and K&L will be on there. So coming through. So that'll be a good one coming up here shortly. And yeah, so definitely keep an eye out for everything that's going on, guys. Support, and show some love.
Yes.
And
I am now, I think, 5 away from 250. So,
there you go. So if you have not subbed
Oh,
to
cool.
Tori, make sure you guys do that. Spread the love. Definitely go from there.
or 755 away from 1,000, whichever works for you.
We also have the Luau is having his 4,000 stream as well tonight. He's got a huge packed lineup.
Yeah.
LBD is running his stream later on today for the X-Men. So there's LBD prophecy. So he will be unplugged. So that's going to be great from there. And then the
And
Luau,
sleeveless.
yeah, the Luau is actually has
He's not shirtless.
he's
We
so
don't
many.
know if he may be pantsless, but
There was that one time where he was. So
Yeah.
you never know with him.
You never know. But awesome. And then, like I said, the Luau is shouting out all this week. He's been shouting out Collector's Craze as well as our channel as well. He's putting up links, and for everybody that goes and supports and subscribes, he's throwing in mystery boxes, throwing in prizes in regards. So I appreciate the Luau for doing that. We are actually, for our channel, we're about 7 away from 800. So we're closing in on that milestone, and just going from there. So awesome. Thanks for making everything great, guys. And once again, Christina Payne, doing what you do. We appreciate you 100%. Love you very much. All right, guys, we're heading out. So the four pack of sports is signing off.
bye, guys.
Take care.